Good evening and welcome into the Railsplitter Athletics Report. I'm your host, Adam Haley. Rusty Peace has taken the week off. We get ready to enter into the home stretch, the final month of the 2012-2013 athletics seasons. Got a lot in store for the next couple of weeks leading into the conference championships. On tonight's show, we have head coach Benny Collins of the men's and women's tennis team and head coach Natalie Layden of the LMU softball teams. We'll get ready and talk to them about what is coming up in the next month leading into those South Atlantic Conference tournaments. We will let you know in the last week, baseball has beaten Brevard in a 2-1 series win. Beat Brevard last Friday 6-0. It was pitcher Brandon Cowan having a complete game shutout. And on Saturday, they split with the Tornadoes of Brevard, beating them 20-5 in the first matchup, then losing 5-7 in the second game. And we got a lot of other results and a lot of other things coming up as you stay tuned to the Railsplitter Athletics Report. Sigmund Communications is your local radio and television stations bringing your local information, local news, and the best music from yesterday and today. Sigmund Communications was established in 1987 on the campus of Lincoln Memorial University. Since then, we have been involved in community events and other projects. Sigmund Communications is not only your local radio and television stations, but we are a learning facility aimed at educating students in the field of broadcast communications. Sigmund Communications, not just the great building with satellites that sits on the hill.
We're now MediaStream, bringing home to you more and more improvements. As your hometown team, we're dedicated to bringing our friends and neighbors more service upgrades than ever before. Always available 24/7 customer service and technical support. 30-day money-back guarantee on services. Improved bundles that will save you money. Get ready to do more of the things you love with the people you love and with savings you'll love. Call 1-800-392-2662 for details. MediaStream, bringing it home to you.
Bringing it home to you.
Since 1973, DeRoyal has been a leader and an innovator in manufacturing products for the healthcare industry. DeRoyal supplies more than 20,000 products and product lines such as acute care, orthopedics, wound care, and trauma. DeRoyal is proud to be the largest supplier of orthopedic soft goods to clinics and hospitals in the nation. Since its start in Tazewell, Tennessee, DeRoyal has grown to open factories in over 29 locations worldwide and employs over 2,000 people. DeRoyal, a name you can trust and an employer you can count on.
Looking for efficient, compassionate, and comprehensive health care for you and your family? Visit University Medical Clinic. All providers are faculty members of LMU's DeBus College of Osteopathic Medicine and are board certified in their specialty. Multiple specialties available including family medicine, pediatrics, OBGYN, and osteopathic manipulative medicine, with locations in Harrogate, Tazewell, and New Tazewell, and most insurance plans accepted. University Medical Clinic is here to serve you. Call 423-869-7193 for an appointment. University Medical Clinic.
And welcome back to the Railsplitter Athletics Report. As we said, head coach of the women's and men's tennis team, Benny Collins, is here with us. And coach, it's spring break. And how do you think that's affecting your team right now?
Well, the effect of we have it on my teams is they're all down in Florida having a good time right now. So if they're gone and supposed to be back today. So we get back today, we practice tomorrow, Saturday, we're off for Easter Sunday. And again, on the courts Monday for practice, and then we play Brevard on Tuesday away.
I was always kind of curious about that as a coaching standpoint, especially with the spring sports. You have that spring break built into the academic calendar.
Yes.
How do you kind of deal with that as a coach? Whether, obviously, your team, you said, is down in Florida. How do you kind of balance that where do you want to give them the week off or possibly play some more matches during that week?
Well, what we done, the first year I was here, we went on spring break and we went to Florida, played a pretty tough schedule down there, was in that sun, practiced every day, and come back and played Brevard on the way home and got the living fire kicked out of us. So I said, no more spring breaks for us. So what I do is I let them leave on Saturday and take 3 or 4 days off, take a little break. We've been banged up. We've had so many people injured that what it's done is they'll get down there and take it easy and heal up, and then we get them back. And if they'd been here, we had snow the whole time they've been gone, so we couldn't have done anything anyway.
Now, how do you feel about that as a coach? Your players are down in Florida enjoying the nice weather.
Oh, I'm toughing it out up here. I'm shoveling snow, keeping the courts clean, got the fires burning, ready for them to come back.
Let's talk about that for a second before we talk about the upcoming schedule. It's been a weird kind of situation this year with the weather where it seems like we had some snow early on in January and February. We get 60, 70-degree weather, then we got snow within the next week. How does that affect your team going forward?
Well, it's been a brutal year as far as for us for practice. You know, all the spring sports at LMU this year has suffered because of the weather. You know, when we're shoveling snow and can't practice, the teams that we play down in South Carolina and North Carolina are down there practicing. So it's a bad disadvantage for us being this far north.
All right, let's talk about women's tennis for a second. They right now set at 4-5 on the season, but it seems like it's just been an uphill battle for the most part.
It's been a tough year for us. We've had as high as 3 starters out different times during the season. You know, one of our star players, the Russian girl Alina, she turned her ankle in the Anderson match, and we've had different people out for different reasons the whole time. It's just been hard to field 6 solid players during the season. You know, when we do, we're pretty tough.
You got 4 freshmen on the roster.
Yes.
Sitting right now at 4-5. You're 2-2 in the South Atlantic Conference.
Correct.
Is this kind of like a trial by fire with them, where they're going to see exactly what they've got in store for the next couple of years?
That's exactly right. You know, they've had to step up. You know, we've got some walk-ons that have to step in there and play in these starting roles, and that's a tough position to have to do. And you know, it's just been a tough year for us as far as that.
Let's talk about your senior, Leah Donoff.
Leah
she
Donoff.
has been a workhorse for you.
Leah Donoff has nothing but been a stellar player for the Lincoln Memorial University women's tennis team. She will break and rewrite every record her senior year that I think LMU has. You know, she beat the number 20 girl the other day at Anderson. She beat the number 19 girl the other day at in the Newberry match, and her and Aura Penalosa beat the number 6 regionally ranked doubles team. It was probably one of the best women's doubles matches I've ever seen at LMU. I mean, it was classic, and they dug that win out. That was a huge win for them, you know. So.
Coming into, as of airing here, 8-1 in singles, 7-2 in doubles. She is your only senior. We talked about the 4 freshmen. How is she being that senior leadership to those underclassmen?
Well, Leah's just a giant killer and a quiet giant killer. She don't say a whole lot. She leads by example. Leah goes out there and just gets the job done each and every match. You know, she goes out there and she's got a big 6-foot girl from somewhere to play. She goes out and just wipes them out. You know, all of a sudden I'll watch them warm up and I'll say it'll be 6-0, 6-1. And usually it's 6-0, 6-1. She just gets the job done. She has a style of play that's just so hard for the other players to play. She moves in and takes every ball early. She don't make her court bigger, and so then it lets her create those angles that she's so efficient at hitting, you know.
As we said, kind of an uphill battle for your women's team, but they're 2-2 in the conference. Right now they're in a position to go into the conference tournament in the next couple of weeks.
That's correct. You know, we have to beat the people we're capable of beating. There's some people out there that we probably can't match up against this year, but we'll play them competitively. But we should win some matches that will get us into the conference, you know, and I feel good about that. If we can keep everybody healthy in on the women's team is the key. You know, last year we were banged up during the mid part of the season, got everybody healthy. We ripped off 6 straight wins at the end of the season, and if we're healthy, we can play with anybody.
Let's talk about that schedule there for a second. You've only played 4 conference games as we get ready to enter the last month.
Right.
The top 2 teams in the conference have played 8 and 9 games respectively.
Correct.
Do you think that's going to be to your advantage, knowing you're going to see the conference going toward the conference tournament?
Well, what's going to be to our advantage is getting everybody there to play. If we'd had to play these teams when we had 3 starters out, we had no chance. Now we've got 2 of the starters back in there. So now we have a much better chance to play the teams that we need to beat to get to that conference tournament and have a successful season on the women's tennis side.
Let's move to the men's side. Right now, you said at 7-3, you're undefeated in conference play at 4-0.
Right. That's big stuff for us. That Newberry match, I was worried about it, and you know, that was one of the key matches. Newberry's got a good team. You know, they've not done that well in the conference, but their only conference losses was against Anderson and Wingate. You know, and they had Joey down 4-1 at Anderson, you know, and lost that match 4-5. That was a tough break for him. But he had a great team. You know, we beat Newberry. Then the big kicker, Tusculum beat Wingate. So now we beat Tusculum. It's going to be hard for us not to at least share the conference championship with somebody. If we beat Tusculum, we beat Wingate, and we run the table the rest of the season, we're going to be conference champs.
We talked about Leah on the women's side, Philip Hoffman on the men's side. I mean,
we call him the Dragon Slayer, the Hoffenator. He's just fabulous. I mean, how could you get a player to do more than he's done? He goes out each and every time at number 1, and number 1 is brutal in men's tennis. And he beats these guys and just takes them out each and every time. And in his doubles play, he's playing with a new partner, Alexei Minovitsky, and they won a big match against Newberry. And, you know, he just puts it on the line each time. If you've not seen him play, you need to come watch him because he'll be leaving after this year, and you need to see him.
Let's talk about your upcoming schedule. You've got Brevard, at Tusculum, and Wingate, all before April 6th. And that's going to be a brutal little stretch there.
That's a brutal little stretch. You know, we go down to Brevard. Brevard's down a little bit, I think. We should be able to take on Brevard and get by that, get a day's rest on Wednesday, practice lightly, go to Tusculum and play Coach Tommy and his team. He's got a really good, solid men's team. You know, they beat Wingate. That's saying a lot, but I believe we can beat them. You know, put the cards on the table. I think we're going to flip them over and we're going to get a win. And then we play Wingate on the weekend, and then actually Carson the day after. So we've got a tough week ahead of us.
You got a tough week, a tough month, really.
A tough month,
Because we talked about a little bit when we were talking about the women's foul. Some of the teams have played 8, 9 conference games.
Sure.
You've only played 4. You've only got, what, 2 or 3 weeks here when left in the regular season to get all these games along with a few non-conference games.
That's correct. But I'd rather play them with everybody healthy and the sunshine, a little warm. You know, the matches we've played, it's been 40 degrees. The wind's been blowing. It's just been tough conditions for tennis. So I'd rather play in the sunshine, even though it's going to be back to back to back, everybody healthy. And the later in the season you play, the better off you are. You know, when we played Limestone, our opening match, we hardly got to practice any. And, you know, I believe we play Limestone now, that'd be a different outcome. We're ready now. I mean, the guys are really playing at a high level.
Do you think and obviously knowing East Tennessee weather like we do, and the tri-state weather, it's very unpredictable. I mean, we had snow during spring break.
Correct.
But do you think there could possibly be something down the road where start practicing in January and kind of preparing for those elements to kind of turn it into a home court advantage?
Well, I tell the kids when we have a team come from South Carolina and it's going to be 40 degrees, it's to our advantage. You know, we're practice every day in it. We're used to it. You know, they practice it's 59 degrees, 62 degrees, and they come up here and it's going to have to play. And at 40, you know, we got the wonderful tennis facility down there. We can go inside and warm up. They've got to stand around, sit in a car, sit in their van, sit on their bus, whatever, and it's to our advantage to get them to come up here and play when it's cold, the way I look at it. I always tell them take every advantage. If it's windy, we like the wind. If it's cold, we like it cold.
How do you get your team healthy, prepared, and making a run toward the conference tournament?
That's what we're going to do. That's exactly what we're going to do.
I meant to ask you, and since we got a little bit of time left here before we go to commercial, the top 6 go in the conference, going to the conference tournament.
Correct.
How important would it be for your men's team to get that number 1 seed?
Yeah, 1 or 2 is about the same because you're just as far from the next best team as if you're 1 or 2. 2 or 1 don't matter other than playing 3 or 4, you know, and that shakes out. And usually 3 or 4 is about the same. So, you know, getting 1 or 2 is either one's just as good to me, you know, because you're separated from that best team just the same distance. You know, if you play the seed, you should end up in the finals against the best team, you know. So last year we weren't seeded at 2. You know, Anderson and Wingate we knocked Anderson off, went to the finals. Wingate beat us in the finals on the men's side, and we were runners up, you know.
And for the women, they got to make a run, possibly get that 3, 4, 5 seed.
They have got to make a run and really tear loose, and they can do it. You know, we're healthy now. We've got everybody back but 1 player. So I feel that we got a good chance to make a good run on the rest of the season for the women's side.
All right, Coach, good luck for the rest of the season.
Thank you.
No problem. Men's and women's tennis team, again, on April 2nd at Brevard, at Tusculum on the 4th, back home, weather permitting, on April the 6th as they take on Wingate. We're going to take a quick commercial break. When we come back, we'll talk a little softball with head coach Natalie Layden, and that's next here on the Railsplitter Athletics Report.
I will help families adopt children from around the world and in our own backyard.
I am teaching ethics to the next generation of lawyers.
I will make a difference for the underserved of this region.
I will be an advocate for my clients.
As a prosecutor, I fought for those who couldn't speak for themselves.
I'm a lawyer and professor.
I will be a lawyer.
I will be a lawyer.
I will be a lawyer.
I guess we'll take Morty. Yes.
Pick last. Ouch. A vault will put you back on top. It quenches and kicks. Incoming! Yeah! You're a super soda mercenary! Vault. Drinks like a soda, kicks like an energy drink. Get to it!
History comes alive at the Abraham Lincoln Library and Museum on the campus of Lincoln Memorial University in Harrogate, Tennessee. Located 60 miles north of Knoxville and 5 minutes from the entrance of Cumberland Gap National Historic Park, the museum is home of one of the largest privately held Lincoln collections in the country.
A place to learn and play. My museum includes interactive exhibits as well as special events and educational programs. For more information, go to www.lmu.net.edu.
We represent the Coke brand. We would like to sue Coca-Cola Zero.
Would you say that we have a case?
For what?
For taste infringement.
We want to just sue them back to the Stone Age to send a message that they're tampering with really the flagship of the company.
It's one company. It's like you suing yourself.
Yeah. But they're on a different part of our floor.
Da, 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 da.
Welcome back to the Railsplitter Athletics Report. As we said, joined alongside now by head softball coach Natalie Layden. And Coach Layden, kind of like we talked with Coach Collins, it's spring break. How do you, and this is your first season as a head coach, how do you deal with kind of the thing with your students? Do you give them the week off, let them go crazy, or do you kind of work them and play a bunch of games in that spring break?
All right. Well, we were supposed to play a bunch of games. Due to weather, unfortunately, that did not happen. So we have a doubleheader today against King, but as far as what we've done is mainly practice, but yet cut loose a little bit, let them enjoy some time. Give us a good time to get some people healthy. You know, hopefully we'll have a good crew back by Saturday. You know, still even today we will not have our full team, but you know, we've really worked hard indoors, hitting and defensively, because we had some things we needed to improve on.
See, the weather I think kind of affects you all more than it does tennis, in the sense that if it rains or snows, he can wipe off the court and it's dry. Softball, once that grass and dirt gets wet, it's wet. How's the weather been affecting your schedule this year?
Yeah, it's been tough on us, more so in a practice standpoint than playing. You know, the first part of our season, we went and played in a tournament and hadn't been on dirt yet. You know, things like that. We're working through it, but you know, there's other teams with the same adversity. We can't use it as an excuse or a crutch. We just have to make sure we're getting better every day. And I think the last week and a half, we really have taken strides to change our approach in practice and competition, and I feel like it'll come through today.
You mentioned you've got a game, I guess it was actually this afternoon since we're airing this evening. You got to play King in a doubleheader. It'll be the 4th and 5th time you've played King this season. How does that really work out? I know one of them was in a tournament, but eventually is it like you look at them and go, is this a best of 5, best of 7?
Exactly. It's, you know, today's the day where we want to try to get everybody playing, get everybody some innings, all that kind of stuff before we go into a conference play on Saturday. Really just, you know, letting some of our starters get a rest today, get healthy. Going into the game. Now, don't get me wrong, King is very tough. They're a good team. So it'll definitely be challenging, but, you know, after playing them 3 times, I hope we're up for it and we know what to expect.
Let's talk about some of your players here, and I had to write down some notes. Mulkey, 367 batting average, has 31 runs on the season. Talk about her play.
Yeah, Brianna Mulkey's just been consistent every day. You know, she does what she does. She's a table setter. Her game is putting the ball in play, making sure she's getting on base. You know, of course, the scouting reports got out, struggled a little bit there for a while, but feel like she's made some adjustments offensively to get back at the rate she was going.
Talk about another one of your big hitters, that's Amanda Snow.
Yeah.
356 batting average, leads the team in home runs with 8, leads the team in RBIs with 29. Talk about her.
Yeah, she's impressive. She's a very impressive hitter, and she's always a game changer. You know, you never know at the plate what she's going to do. You always have the expectations of something great happening because she does it so often. Not only is she one of the best hitters on our team, but she's also one of the best hitters in our conference. You know, as far as the numbers she's putting up, she's a very impressive hitter. You know, she never takes a swing off or anything like that, and she's done a lot of good for our team.
On the pitching side, Samantha Smith. She's 14-8 on the season, has a 3.35 ERA, 91 strikeouts on the season. When you look at the stats, she seems to be the workhorse for the pitching staff.
She is, and you know, unfortunately, due to some injuries on our pitching staff, she was it for a while. You know, now we're starting to get some back healthy. You know, Amanda Snow's coming back. Kirsten Toole is still out, so we're still working on those pieces to the puzzle. But she's really stepped in as a freshman and done a really good job for us. You know, unfortunately, throwing that many innings as a freshman, she's learning that you can't pound the strike zone but so much before people start hitting you. And so we're still working on some of those things, and she'll continue to get better day by day.
Before we talk about the season that's been and the season coming up and everything, this is your first season as a head coach, and it's a conference you're used to coming from Wingate. Talk about your experiences through the first part here.
Yeah, you know, it's been just another year. You know, I feel like a lot of the things that we've done are very similar to things I've done in the past. So, you know, I don't feel like it's all that new. You know, I have a great staff who helps me tremendously between Coach Jen and Coach Batts. They've done a great job, not only with me, but with the players, and, you know, really helping it be an easy transition. As far as the conference goes, I mean, this year's probably the best our conference has been since I've been in it. Just with, you know, anybody can beat anybody kind of system, and, you know, a lot of people are getting beat up in our conference. You know, a lot of us came in with winning records and good records who are now getting beat up. So it's going to be tough to make it into the tournament, but I think we've got a good shot.
Now, you had a full semester before your season started in the spring semester to learn your players. Talk about how the learning curve has been with them.
Yeah, it's been, I mean, we're still doing that day by day. You know, we're still learning each other. But for the most part, I think we have a system. We understand, you know, when we're on the field between lines, it's business, and we're going to work like it's business. And, you know, understanding the game and the rules and things like that, we've really worked hard on with our athletes, and you can see it getting better day by day.
All right, now we've already talked about the King game in the 4th and 5th time, and I don't know if you've got them on the schedule again, do you?
No.
Okay.
No.
Then you get back into conference play. You've got Anderson coming up. You have Mars Hill, which I'm pretty sure is a makeup game, before you really get to, you have 2 away games against Union and Newberry.
Right. Yeah, we, you know, we got a tough schedule coming up, a lot of games in a short amount of time. And, you know, I think right now, at one point, we had played the most games in our conference, you know, so it'll be nice to ease up a little bit with King and with Union. Not that the teams are easy by any means, because they'll be extremely competitive. It's just more of, you know, relaxing from conference and kind of seeing what everybody else does in conference to, you know, see where we are when it comes to tournament time.
We talked about that with Benny Collins. He'd only played 4 conference games, whereas part of the other conference had played more. You set at a spot, you're 3-7 in conference, but you're still sitting in the same kind of spot where other teams have played about the same amount of games.
Right.
Do you think that works to your advantage?
I do. We played a lot of games early where people weren't playing, and now we're at a point where I feel that, you know, we hit a lull for a little while, and now we're to the point where we're starting to come back up, you know, and it's a great time to do that. So we're excited about it. I think, you know, we're really looking forward to the conference games that we have left, which will be a challenging schedule for us, you know, with Anderson and LR both still on the schedule. But, you know, our chances are pretty good right now.
So you set at a situation where you're in 7th place. The top 8 go in the softball conference tournament. You said you were battling injuries. We obviously know every spring sport battles weather. How do we get over the hump here in this last 2 or 3 weeks and get pushed toward the conference tournament?
Yeah, it's all about intensity right now and the will to win. You know, we talk a lot about that, our energy that we bring to the field every day and what we put on the field. And, you know, there's going to be days where we're going to get beat, but we're not going to beat ourselves. And that's really what our focus is on our team in general and what we need to do to be successful. And, you know, I feel that we're prepared to play those teams. It's just a matter of who wants it more.
5 out of your last 7 series are at home at the Neely Field. How important is that, knowing not only do you have them here, but it may be good weather. You may have sunny, warm days to get these teams.
It's extremely important for our team to play at home. We do really well playing at home so far. You know, sleeping in our own beds, having a routine, understanding the facility. You know, as far as our warm-up protocol, all that's the same. And our team does really well with routine. And I'm not going to lie, I do really well with routine as well. So with that, we tend to mesh well much better at home. So I'm really excited to have the games that we do have at home, you know, with Anderson and LR and some of the others that we're playing at home. I'm really excited about our chances and what we can put on the field.
I'm going to put you on the spot here for a minute.
All right.
You said it's spring break, which it is right now on campus. Your team's practicing. They got a couple games, but you're having fun in practice. You're being loose. What kind of coach do you think you are? Do you think you're the happy-go-lucky, have-fun type coach and during practice? Or are you the hard-nosed, we got to get it done or we're going to run laps type coach? Or?
Well, I'm pretty sure I'm more of a hard-nosed kind of coach. Now, don't get me wrong, I can see it from time to time where we need to take a break, you know, and we played kickball the other day in the gym. That was one of our things. You know, we did some defensive stuff and our pitcher still threw and that kind of thing. But in the end, for our conditioning, we played a game of kickball. But as far as how I coach, I'd probably be more so a hard-nosed coach, and I guarantee you if you ask my kids, that's what they would say too. I feel like I'm happy-go-lucky. They don't feel that way.
I can't believe you played kickball and didn't invite the TV crew.
Yeah, I will next time.
We could have played you. We'd have lost, but we'd have played you. We've got a few minutes left to go here. You got the rest of the season going. How do we get some of these players healthy? How do we overcome the injuries?
Yeah, right now it's just more about rest. You know, letting those that are injured rest, kind of stay away, get healthy. You know, they've been doing their treatments, which Whitney Bailey's been awesome with our team through the whole year because we've been pretty beat up. So she's done a nice job with that. You know, it's just a matter of right now of keeping everybody else healthy until we can get the rest and put the full team on the field. And I think Saturday we will have that full team. Unfortunately, it may be a little rusty, so that's also a coaching decision to see, is it worth it or is it not, and go with kind of what we're used to working with. So that's more of a game day decision. But I feel that we'll have 13 healthy on Saturday. That's the plan.
All right, we got about 30 seconds left. I'm going to ask you to look in that camera and tell people why they should come out and watch LMU softball.
LMU softball is exciting. You will see 100% effort all the time. And if you come to watch us play, you will not be disappointed.
All right, Coach. Thanks, and good luck for the rest of the season.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
All right. Head Coach Natalie Layden. When we come back, we're going to have a special announcement that involves the LMU Sports Network along with softball and baseball. And that's up next here on the Railsplitter Athletics Report.
Nestled at the foot of the Cumberland Gap, Lincoln Memorial University honors the vision and spirit of Abraham Lincoln. Lincoln's values are perfectly in sync with the modern educational experience at LMU. Our students find personal attention is a way of life and a way to success. If Lincoln Memorial University fits your vision of college, visit our website at lmunet.edu for more information.
Sigmund Communications is your local radio and television stations bringing your local information, local news, and the best music from yesterday and today. Sigmund Communications was established in 1987 on the campus of Lincoln Memorial University. Since then, we have been involved in community events and other projects. Sigmund Communications is not only your local radio and television stations, but we are a learning facility aimed at educating students in the field of broadcast communications. Sigmund Communications, not just the great building with satellites that sits on the hill.
We're now MediaStream, bringing home to you more and more improvements. As your hometown team, we're dedicated to bringing our friends and neighbors more service upgrades than ever before. Always available 24/7 customer service and technical support. 30-day money-back guarantee on services. Improved bundles that will save you money. Get ready to do more of the things you love with the people you love and with savings you'll love. Call 1-800-392-2662 for details. MediaStream, bringing it home to you.
Bringing it home to you.
Welcome back to the Railsplitter Athletics Report. As we said, we're going to do something special here with the LMU Sports Network. The last week of baseball and softball, senior week if you will, we're going to be broadcasting baseball and softball on the LMU Sports Network on radio. Those games for you on softball will be up first on April the 9th. I believe that is a Tuesday. They'll have a 5:30 and a 7:30 first pitch against Union, Kentucky. The next day, baseball will have one at 4 and 7 at home as they take on Alabama Huntsville in non-conference action. The fun day becomes senior day. That's the Saturday, April the 13th, when both teams play LR at home at 1 o'clock. Now, all these games will be heard on 91.3 FM WLMU except for the senior day softball game. That will be heard on its sister station, 740 AM WCXZ. Again, LMU Sports Network bringing baseball and softball to you for senior week. Let's go over some upcoming stuff coming up this week in LMU athletics. The baseball team has a fun little, I guess we'll call it fun little weekend ahead of them. Good Friday, they're at Smokies Park taking on Carson Newman, their arch rivals. 7:15 first pitch again over in Sevierville at Smokies Park. They'll finish off the series on Saturday in a doubleheader against Carson Newman starting at 2 o'clock here on campus. Tuesday, they'll be at home against King. First pitch for that was at 4 p.m. Men's golf this week will be at the Cumberland's Invitational B-Team Tournament on Monday and Tuesday, and we'll have results from all of that next week with Rusty Peace back here on the Railsplitter Athletics Report. That's going to do it for tonight. I'm Adam Haley, and this has been the Railsplitter Athletics Report.